day 46, or is it 47? Oh, I'm not sure. The days are going by very quickly. And today I have a really funny story because, so I was swimming with my husband, and he swam away a little bit ahead of me, and he was wearing goggles and I wasn't. I was just in my sunglasses, and at some point I found myself, like, I started noticing in the sea these like tiny little, like literally this big, tiny little blue fish all around me. It felt so miraculous. I felt seriously like the universe was sending me some kind of a signal. And I was like, in the beginning, I was like, oh my God, is this real? And I kept on looking because they were so, it's like in the shimmering water, it wasn't clear if it was real. And then I kept on turning around and I was spinning, and they were like all around me. And I was so, oh my God, I was so excited. It was so beautiful and wonderful and amazing. So I called my husband to come, and I wanted to share with him how, what I was experiencing. And especially because he was wearing goggles and he would be able to really see them, like snorkeling goggles. So when he swam up to me, he couldn't see. And I was like, here, it's right here. And he couldn't see. And he was even in, once again, his goggles. And I said, look up closer to the surface. Basically, he didn't see what I was seeing. But what was really, really interesting about it also is that when he couldn't see them, he actually said, like, you should go, like, get your, like, eyes checked, or you should go and see someone, or do you know what I mean? So what I'm trying to say about that, what is really, really interesting is that there are several things happening. So he and I were sharing this experience. I was in the water. There was all this blue fish swimming all around me. I saw it. He didn't see it. So we were in exactly the same space physically, but our experiences were completely different. So I had one reality and he had another reality. And for me, it's just such a perfect example of how we operate in our relationships and how we operate in life. We can be in the same place but have completely different experiences. So that's one thing. Another thing that was really, really interesting is that when his reality was not corresponding to mine, so I was saying, my reality is this, like I have all this fish swimming, look how amazing, amazing, amazing. He couldn't see, so immediately there is a kind of, you blame the other, like you make the other wrong. Because most of us who are not aware, and my husband is not nearly as present as I am, he didn't see, and he couldn't admit or accept, it's all unconscious, right? That he didn't understand what I was saying, or he didn't share that same reality, so then he makes me crazy. And this is how I was raised. Like, my mother particularly, if she doesn't agree with something, she just, that was my big sort of disagreement with her several weeks ago that I was talking about extensively here, is that our reality was different, and then because she couldn't understand my choices, she just called them crazy or me abnormal. And this is how I was raised. Like all of my life, I felt there was something wrong with me. And I suspect, and I observe that many of us are raised that way, that if we're experiencing our own reality that's different from other people, that they will blame us for being the crazy ones. So our reality is constantly denied. So, for example, if I was in a different state first of all, I was in a very good mood, so he got away with saying that. So my boundaries were different, right? Do you see how the boundaries are not about them, the boundaries are mine? I was in a good mood and it didn't matter for me. I was so amazed by my reality being so magical, and with the fish, But it is interesting for me, it was just such a perfect example of how we operate and how frequently we can be in the same experience, but our individual experience of it can be very, very different. So when we don't agree in relationships, or when we don't see things the same way, or we don't believe the same things, or we have different experiences, once again, of the same thing, we often get upset, or we get angry, or we think something is wrong with our relationship, or we think something is wrong with us. So what I wanted to say is that that's actually not at all the truth. That's not the case, because here, it's a very innocent example of how our realities are constantly different. But it was just incredible, because for me, this fish was just so evident, so obvious. It was so clear that this was like, my reality was definitely real to me. And yet his reality without the fish in the same sea was very real to him. So, in our society, we've been trained to think that people who don't think like us are crazy or bad or infidels or, whatever. And then we try to make them or convince them to think the way we do. We have a really hard time to live with holding that several realities are possible at the same time. So, and then also when somebody calls you crazy for living your experience, it should, like, we often react and make a judgment about it, about ourselves, and that's also not true, right? So because my husband couldn't see the same fish that I was seeing, it doesn't make me crazy. It doesn't make him crazy either, right? Like, he didn't see. He just didn't see. Neither he's crazy nor I am crazy. Can we live with the understanding that his reality is his, due to his capacity to perceive, to see, to believe, to allow? His reality is like this, and my reality is like this because I believe. And when I saw those the tiniest, they really did look magical. I did also question my reality in the beginning. I was like, wait, could this be real? Is this some kind of a miracle? But because I allow miracles, and because I believe in miracles, and because I do believe that nature is a miracle anyway, I felt like I was swimming in this magical environment with this magical fish. It didn't, the fact that somebody else didn't see it doesn't make me crazy. And I feel that the more we live in this, with the understanding that we live in quantum reality, and that sometimes, in the same space, in the same physical space, we can have many different realities. I think the more we understand that, the more we can feel less victimized and less in shame of who we are. Because the fact is that, we're each with our own capacity to see, to perceive. And then also, like, somebody has great eyesight. I don't have great eyesight. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's also, we will literally, even our physical capacities are different. So we are each so different, so individual, that even, once again, if we live in the same space, our perception of reality is so different. And this is, I guess, the kind of the point of this story, is that it doesn't make any of us wrong. And the reality is such that, the truth is such that we each have very different experiences of this life. From the point of view, our gender and our race and our physical capacities and our just beliefs even, we will have very different experiences, but it doesn't make any of us wrong or bad. So just really wanted to share it today, and I'll see you tomorrow.